What if I told you that despite its vast size, 95% of Australia remains empty? Did you know that most Australians live on just 5% of their land? Welcome to Fact Hub, and today we will deep dive into this mystery of Australia's great emptiness. Today, we're exploring the fascinating reasons behind this strange phenomenon, from its harsh geography to historical decisions and its unique wildlife. Join us as we explore why Australia is 95% empty. Chapter 1: Introduction to Australia's Vastness. Australia, the world's sixth largest country, spans over 7.6 million square kilometers, roughly the size of the continental United States. Yet, unlike the US, where cities and towns are spread across the entire land, Australia's population of about 25 million people is concentrated along the coastlines. The Australian Bureau of Statistics reports that nearly 85% of Australians live within 50 kilometers of the coast. This concentration around the edges leaves the interior largely uninhabited, presenting a stark contrast between the bustling urban centers and the vast, empty expanses of the outback. To understand this phenomenon, we need to discuss in more detail the various factors that have shaped Australia's unique population distribution. Chapter 2: The harsh geography. Australia's geography plays a significant role in its population distribution. The country is famous for its arid and semi-arid interior, commonly referred to as the outback. The outback covers 70% of Australia and is characterized by extreme temperatures, low rainfall, and vast desert plains. According to the Bureau of Meteorology, some areas receive less than 250 millimeters of rain annually, making agriculture and settlement incredibly challenging. The Great Victoria Desert, Simpson Desert, and Gibson Desert are just a few of the vast, inhospitable regions that dominate the landscape. The harsh conditions make it difficult for communities to sustain themselves, resulting in a sparse population mainly focused on the more hospitable coastal regions. Chapter 3: Historical Settlement Patterns. When European settlers arrived in the 18th and 19th centuries, they established their colonies along the coast. This decision was influenced by the accessibility of water, fertile land, and the relative ease of trade and transportation. Coastal cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane quickly became bustling centers of activity. Historian Geoffrey Blaney's insights into these initial settlements and their influence on Australia's urban development are enlightening. They created a pattern that persists to this day, with the inland areas, due to their challenging terrain and climate, being largely overlooked, reinforcing the coastal concentration of the population. Chapter 4: Economic Factors and Urbanization. Economic factors play a significant role in Australia's population distribution, particularly the concentration of people in urban areas. The coastal cities of Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth are the powerhouses of Australia's economy, hosting the majority of the nation's financial institutions, corporate headquarters, and service industries. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, these cities contribute significantly to the country's GDP, with Sydney and Melbourne alone accounting for nearly 40% of the national output. The concentration of economic opportunities in these urban centers has driven a trend of urbanization, with people migrating from rural areas to cities in search of better job prospects, higher wages, and improved living standards. This urban migration is fueled by the diverse range of industries available in these cities, from finance and technology to healthcare and education. The promise of career growth, professional networks, and access to world-class amenities draws individuals and families to the coastal cities. Furthermore, the urbanization trend is reinforced by the availability of infrastructure and services in these metropolitan areas. Coastal cities are well equipped with advanced transportation systems, healthcare facilities, educational institutions, and entertainment options, making them highly attractive places to live. The Australian Infrastructure Audit of 2019 highlighted that urban infrastructure investments significantly outpaced those in regional and remote areas, further entrenching the population in coastal cities. Meanwhile, rural and remote areas suffer as they face numerous economic challenges. The lack of diversified industries, limited job opportunities, and underdeveloped infrastructure make these regions less appealing for settlement. Agriculture, mining, and tourism are the primary industries in rural Australia, but they are highly susceptible to economic fluctuations and environmental changes. The decline of traditional industries, coupled with the high cost of living and limited access to essential services, has driven many people away from the interior regions. Chapter 5. Wildlife and Conservation. A significant portion of Australia's land is dedicated to wildlife conservation, highlighting the country's commitment to preserving its unique biodiversity. Australia's incredible array of flora and fauna, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth, is a testament to its natural beauty and diversity. To protect these natural treasures, the Australian government and various organizations have established a network of national parks and protected areas. According to the Department of Agriculture, Water, and the Environment, over 20% of Australia's landmass is designated as protected areas. These include world-renowned sites like Kakadu National Park in the Northern Territory, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park in Queensland, and the Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Area. These conservation areas serve multiple purposes. Firstly, they protect the habitats of numerous species, some of which are critically endangered. Secondly, these areas provide essential ecosystem services, such as water purification, carbon sequestration, and soil stabilization, which are vital for the overall health of the environment. However, the establishment and maintenance of these conservation areas come with challenges. Balancing human activity with the need to protect natural habitats requires careful planning and management. Issues such as invasive species, climate change, and habitat fragmentation pose ongoing threats to Australia's biodiversity. These protected areas not only safeguard biodiversity, but also provide valuable ecosystem services, research opportunities, and economic benefits through tourism. The challenges are significant, but the efforts to maintain and expand these areas are crucial for the future of Australia's unique ecosystems. Chapter 6. Infrastructure challenges. The vast distances and remote nature of much of Australia present significant infrastructure challenges, particularly in the interior regions. Developing and maintaining infrastructure across such an expansive and often inhospitable landscape requires considerable investment and logistical planning. The outback, with its rugged terrain and extreme weather conditions, poses unique difficulties for infrastructure development. One of the primary challenges is the construction and upkeep of transportation networks. Roads, railways, and airstrips are essential for connecting remote communities with urban centers and for the movement of goods and services. The Australian government's Inland Rail project, which aims to connect Melbourne and Brisbane via regional areas, underscores the immense scale and expense of such endeavors. Spanning over 1,700 kilometers with an estimated cost of $14.5 billion AUD, this project highlights the difficulties of bridging the vast distances between isolated communities. In addition to transportation, providing reliable utilities such as water, electricity, and telecommunications is a formidable task. Many remote areas rely on costly and less efficient diesel generators for electricity, while access to clean water can be a constant struggle. The installation of renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind power, is becoming more prevalent, but the initial investment and ongoing maintenance costs remain high. The National Water Grid Authority is working on projects to secure water supplies for rural communities, but these initiatives require substantial funding and long-term planning. Healthcare and education services in remote areas also face significant challenges. The Royal Flying Doctor Service, RFDS, is a crucial lifeline, providing emergency medical care and routine health services to those living in isolated regions. However, the availability of specialized medical care and advanced facilities is limited. Similarly, education services often rely on remote learning and itinerant teachers to reach students in distant locations. These services, while essential, cannot fully substitute the comprehensive facilities available in urban centers. That's why the reality is, the infrastructure challenges in Australia's remote and interior regions are significant and multifaceted. From transportation and utilities to healthcare and internet connectivity, developing and maintaining infrastructure across such a vast landscape requires substantial investment and innovative solutions. Chapter 7. The Cultural Factor. Cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane developed rapidly, becoming economic and cultural hubs. This historical precedent set a pattern of urban settlement that persists today. The coastal lifestyle has become ingrained in Australian culture. The allure of beachside living, with its recreational opportunities and scenic beauty, is a significant draw. Coastal cities offer a vibrant mix of cultural amenities, including restaurants, theaters, and sports facilities, which contribute to a high quality of life. This cultural preference for coastal living is reflected in the fact that over 85% of Australians live within 50 kilometers of the coast. Chapter 8. Government Policies and Incentives. Government policies and incentives play a crucial role in addressing the unique challenges of population distribution in Australia. These policies aim to promote balanced regional development, support rural communities, and mitigate the pressures on urban centers. However, achieving these goals requires a multifaceted approach and substantial investment. One of the key initiatives is the decentralization policy, which encourages the relocation of businesses and government services to regional areas. The Australian government has implemented various programs to incentivize businesses to set up operations in rural and regional communities. For example, the Regional Development Australia (RDA) initiative provides funding and support for projects that drive economic growth and improve living standards in regional areas. These efforts aim to create jobs, boost local economies, and reduce the population pressure on major cities. Despite these efforts, challenges remain scary for Australia. The vast distances and low population density in remote areas make it difficult to achieve the same level of infrastructure and service delivery as in urban centers. In conclusion, Australia's 95% emptiness is a result of a complex interplay of geographic, historical, economic, and cultural factors. The vast, dry interior poses significant challenges, while the coastal regions offer more favorable living conditions. From its stunning natural landscapes to its bustling coastal cities, Australia is a land of contrasts and surprises. As climate change and economic shifts continue to shape the country, the patterns of population distribution may evolve, but the essence of Australia's great emptiness will likely remain a defining feature. Next time you look at a map of Australia, remember that the vast empty spaces tell a story of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring allure of the land down under. For more in-depth videos and to stay updated on our latest content, hit the bell icon so you never miss out. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more content that explores the hidden stories and wonders of our world. Stay curious and we'll see you in the next adventure.